Welcome back everyone to more Motorsport Manager Online. And in today's video we have one very simple goal. We need to score 8 points so that we can move up out of Tier 3 into Tier 4 and start that process all over as we continue to work our way through the different tiers and classes of the online version of this game. Now, if memory serves me correctly, this will be the first time that we have been able to move up through a class without doing any upgrades whatsoever to our car during the races it took to move forward. Of course, right now, we don't have the ability to do any upgrades, any new parts, because we have used all of our available staff on an HQ upgrade. So that is out of the question right now. Of course, I could simply just wait for the HQ upgrade to be done before we do these final races. But at this point, we have shown no reason to wait. Our finishes have been very good. In fact, still pulling off some victories and podiums just fine without those upgrades. So I'm looking very forward to our first race, and I'm hoping that we can score those 8 points we need to move up then. And wow, look at the draw. Once again, we will be at Yokohama. Now, if this is a track you love, then these last few videos have been right up your alley. 14th position, of course, we should have no trouble making that happen unless something odd happens, or if I simply mess something up by forgetting to make a pit stop. So everything is looking good. We are likely to have a 9-lap race, which will mean that we'll be doing a 1-stop, running 5 laps in the first stint and then 4 laps in the second stint. So everything appears to be ready. So without any rain, which doesn't appear to be on the way in the first few laps, we'll see what we get. Yikes, 20th position. So once again, Robert is struggling in qualifying, which hasn't seemed to hurt him a whole lot to this point in any of the races. He still ends up being in the points. There you can see some of the connection issues. Cars all over the place here at the beginning of the race, in the grass, in the water, now we see. So hopefully the connection issues will sort themselves out as we have a huge collection of cars here at the beginning. I'm going to spin this camera around a little bit, get us a top-down view, and not only that, but also get us a view more in line with the start-finish straight. All right, so far so good. We're in 6th position, and of course, as we've seen in the past, you can move forward or back by a few positions in as little as a corner. So we don't get too attached to the position we are in the first few laps because we know that is entirely likely to change. What we are looking at right now is the tire wear. The tire wear right now, we're seeing a few cars that have tire wear very close to our own. And then, of course, some others that are clearly going with a different strategy. So that's what we're focused on right now. All right, so lap 3. This is where we generally see a lot of cars make their first pit stop and put on either a medium or a harder compound of tire, which is really good for us. And Jessica, as you can see, she's doing a little bit of off-roading here on lap 3, trying to make up a bunch of positions. I mean, there are 6 cars right here, or 5 cars rather, right here all close together. All right, let's see what happens. All right, so we have several cars make their pit stop. We end up in the lead. I'll certainly take that. So lap 4, we should see the remaining cars that are close by us, including some medium tire here, that are going to be pitting after the end of this lap. So that's a little bit surprising with the medium tire options. So the closest car that it looks like is still out there is in 8th position on the hard tire, from the start of the race that is, and yet to make their first pit stop. So now let's go ahead and set up this first pit stop for both of our cars. All right, so McGinnis, let's see, we've got 17% there, 22%. Let's go ahead and have him go to the neutral, which of course is exactly what he's going to be using in his second and final stint of the race. So there you see first pit stop underway, and yes, she's going to come out easily in the lead. Let's see what happens with McGinnis. He's going to come out, okay, he's going to come out mid-pack here. Actually, worse than that. Yikes. But, of course, we'll have to wait and see what happens with all of the pit stop cycles and see where everything lines up for the end of the race. So for the most part, I would imagine everybody is done with pit stops. As I look through here, I do see some, probably 3 or 4 cars immediately that are going to be pitting for sure. And that'll help Robert move up. In the meantime, I noticed we got into the lead. Let's see what we've got here now. I have not moved her up to neutral because I wasn't sure we would need to. I'll go ahead and do so now. We're in the lead and we're pulling away. You can see the hard tire is probably not going to make it the remainder of the way, so we're going to be about 7 seconds up on second place here very shortly. All right, beginning of lap 8, that means 2 more laps. So yeah, Robert is not going to have a good day here. None of these guys ahead of him, or just as I say that, some of them do come into pit. How far will that move him up? 10th position, okay. So not close enough to get to that top 6 right now. Really don't want to push the issue too much. Reliability is looking not too bad, 30% here with Jessica. That's not too bad. As we go into the final lap, that should mean no issues at all. Let's go ahead and let's see, what do we have? Yeah, let's go ahead and go full attack mode and go high power here. Let's see what we can get with Robert. He is outside of the point, so even if he dropped out of the race right now, it would not hurt anything about our finishing position. But you never know what you can get. Some of these guys slow down. Nope, looks like 10th position is about where we're going to come in. But if you're paying attention to the top left-hand corner of the screen, we made 10 points by that victory from Jessica. So that's going to mean we got enough points to move forward out of this particular tier and into tier 4. So let's go ahead and continue on because I'm very anxious to see sort of some of the rules and changes that we encounter as we move up. So let's go ahead and move through this. We got 400,000 for winning that race. So some more gears, aluminum, and well as sheet metal. Okay, so not too bad overall. Let's see. So we moved up to around 11,000 in the grid, $2.7 million in earnings. Again, that'll get us a small bonus whenever this particular season is over in a few hours. But overall, not a huge difference one way or another. All right, so now we should be in line to find out what entails in our promotion. All right, here we go. 8 class complete. Thank you very much. We've unlocked 1 driver and 2 strategies. And we've got some bonuses, 750,000 in cash plus 8 tokens. Let's see what we've got. All right, our drivers, wow, 84 overall. That is very nice. Plus we've got attack mode. Okay, this is purely about Formula E, so this really isn't going to help us in our particular struggle because I do not plan on purchasing the Formula E expansion. But yeah, 84 on the drivers, so they're definitely getting much stronger as we move from tier 3 up into tier 4. So we'll start in G class, which of course means we have to go all the way through A before we can move up to the next tier. And we are going to go with mixed. I almost want to change over to the GTs just so we can get out of this mixed because it does bother me a little bit to be on the track in a stock car when you also see these other cars on the track as well. But we'll stick with it. We'll go ahead and join here. Let's see what we've got for our rules. Points for everyone. Okay, so that's good. Disabled, so no refueling. I don't think we've actually been in a tier or class that is allowed refueling to this point, if I remember correctly. No safety car, standard qualifying, 3 compounds. All right, so not a huge change. This is more like what we've seen in the different tiers so far. Okay, once again, we'll leave our livery the same as it has been. All right, so our drivers at this point, 77 and 78, we've already seen that we can get into the 80s in this particular tier with these drivers. So that'll be something for us to think about as time goes on. Now, You also notice where the performance is. We're into the yellow now, so we're less than halfway toward a fully performing race car, maximum performance. So now I have to imagine we're going to fall behind at this point. It hasn't happened up to this point when I've thought it was about to happen, but surely at this point, we've got to be in line for that to be a reality. So at this point, I think I'm just going to fix the reliability. Okay, and try to keep that up as high as possible so we don't have any retirements. Now we've got a new powertrain. So texture, okay, I've not heard of that one before. That must be a new one. Even in the PC version, I don't remember hearing about that. Okay, so we've got a new powertrain. We're going to click off of the promotional offers. So now what I want to do is, let's first take a look at where we are based on the fact that we are now into the bottom of tier 4. So our car is just okay. Drivers, just okay. Obviously, we've got lots of parts that are available to us. But let's go into the car, because the first thing I want to do is look at the powertrain. So as we move over, so right now we're at 204, 80, and 40. All right, so 212, 40, and 70. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And then in tier 5, you can see we get stronger, and then it continues on as you move forward. Now, Steinman, I am very familiar with, and Rossini, that is, yeah. Okay, now we're getting into some names that I'm well aware of from the PC version. All right, so not bad. The question is, do we want to move up? And I think the answer to that is going to be yes. However, there is one thing we need to take care of first, and if we come in under the upgrade slots, it's not the performance, not terribly worried about that right now. But what I am worried about is reliability. The maximum is 55%. I don't know that this is going to work at maximum of 55. Not only does that mean we won't be able to push with the engine, I'm not sure it'll last an entire race, honestly, at that level. Of course, then you get more energy efficiency. And, I mean, that's obviously great if you can get up to a max of 100%. But the reliability and this don't really line up for me. So let's actually come back out of this. Maximum performance is 212. That's obviously the reason why you would want to jump into that one. But right now, I think what I want to do is let's go ahead and use these and do our last upgrade and get up to the 209, which of course is our max level. Because I love this reliability. I do not want to get into a situation where we've got a lot of retirements, because that is really going to hurt our ultimate performance. So we don't want that. But right now, I am very excited because we have an okay car, okay drivers. What's it going to look like when we get to our first race? Up next will be Munich, a winding circuit, which means we won't have as many opportunities for overtaking. So we really need to make every lap count, 14th or above, for our bonus of 150,000. All right, I definitely like that. Let's go ahead and queue up our proper tires, take a quick look at the forecast. All right, we're good to go. Go ahead and click on continue, which shouldn't cause us any issues this time. Now, I'm expecting to be at the back of the grid in qualifying as well in the race, so let's see what we get. Qualifying results, 6th and 20th. Now, the 20th sounds about right. I was expecting actually worse with Jessica, but she continues to use these bonuses to the utmost benefit. All right, 9 laps. Once again, we want to go conservative with both drivers here at the beginning. And for right now, we'll focus on Monroe. Wow, they threw a chicane at us here at the very beginning of the track, which shortens even more that start-finish straight. So once again, we won't worry too much about what position we're in here for the first couple of laps as things try to get themselves sorted out. We won't get too excited if we jump all the way up to 3rd. We won't get too mad if we jump and fall all the way back to 10th or 11th, all in the space of a couple of corners. Now, this is a track we're very familiar with from the PC version. Have been at this track many, many times. All right, so at the end of lap 1, 8th, and 15th. So better than I had thought with Robert. Not bad. Oh, wow. You see there, Monroe falls all the way back to 12th in the space of 1 corner. So that's how quickly it can happen. This thing is just a jumbled up mess right now on the grid. Even coming close to the end of the 2nd lap, and we still got cars all over each other, and Monroe continues to fall back the grid. Still not the end of the world. Remember, it's all about the strategy and what kind of strategy do these guys have, and do we have enough pace to try to make the best finish possible, which I would consider a top 10 to be a really, really good finish for us here in this first race in the new tier. So here on lap 3, looking at the tires ahead of us, well, we've got a medium tire up here that's really fast to be on medium tires and be that far up the grid. It looks like we're going to see a lot of pit stops here very shortly. And we'll see if most of these guys do a one-stopper. I would imagine they will. All right, so 12th and 16th. All right, here we go. Who all comes into the pits? It looks like basically everybody in front of us came right into the pits. And, of course, that's going to put us right into the middle of this pack at the front in 4th and 10th. But, of course, we got a lot of hungry hounds around us on some new tires being very aggressive, I would imagine. I see some hard tires here in front of us. So that means that these guys in front of us are planning to go to the end. Okay, I see some cars behind, sort of in between our two cars that are going to be making pit stops here very soon. At the end of this particular lap. All right, so as we come around to finish off lap 4, let's go ahead and queue up our very first pit stop. Again, doesn't appear as though we're going to have any rain so far. So we'll queue up the medium tires there once again. All right, let's see what we get. So we're sitting here in 4th and 5th. So we'll see how far we drop once we come into the pits. I'm guessing we'll drop below this bonus line. All right, we'll go ahead and queue up Monroe. Now, we are going to stack them up in the pits a little bit. We're ended up much closer together than I thought, so we'll just have to work through that and deal with that as we have to. Still not much of a stack up, maybe a second or two, so not the end of the world. But still, anytime you have a stack up, it's not something you want. All right, so we come out 10th and 12th. Again, not the end of the world. Let's go ahead and move things up to neutral since we don't need 5 laps this time. We only need 4. So let's see what we can get. Reliability is horrible. Now, this must be some sort of randomized issue because, again, we have done anything but push hard here at the beginning of this race. And this is another one of those reasons why I really don't want to move up and deal with any reliability issues from another engine. All right, here we go. Pit stops continuing on. Let's move up to Monroe. So we're running 9th and 10th now, so we pick up a couple of spots. And looks like 6th position will be coming in for a pit stop, likely 3rd as well. I don't know that we're close enough to take advantage, but we'll see. Particularly for these in the upper part of the grid. But we'll take any and every position we can get. All right, as far as I know, we can't. Can I click on this? No, not that. Can I click on? Nope. Apparently I can't. Of course, in the PC version, you can click on reliability and see which parts and pieces of the car are actually very low on reliability, so that gives you an idea of what you need to work on before the next race. The online version doesn't seem to have that type of information available, so we'll just have to assume it's sort of randomized because of the differences I'm seeing, even though their cars at the beginning of the race were very similar. And we've seen times where Robert had huge reliability differences than Monroe. Now it's flip-flopped. Monroe is the one with very little reliability remaining. All right, so final lap. Let's see what we got. 37. Let's go ahead and go full attack mode with him. And we're not going to have a whole lot that we can do here with Jessica. She's already basically attacking as much as she can on those softer tires. So 7th and 8th, I will certainly take that. I feel like there's at least one spot we can get here. All right, let's see what we've got here over the last few corners. So we've got 7th and 8th, and nope, doesn't look like we're going to be able to quite pick up that 6th position. So we ran it completely out of tires, basically on both cars, but that was by design. In fact, just by looking at it, most everybody except for 5th place did exactly that same thing. All right, let's see who's on the podium. Oh, look, there's Robert on the podium. Harry Chapman, very familiar with that name. And of course, Kelvin, we've seen him many times as we move up and through. So we'll go ahead and continue on. But overall, that's not bad. We need 145 points to move up. We came in 3rd position as far as the teams go, 27 points, a total earnings of 500,000. So overall, I'm very happy with that. That is better than I thought we could get. I was hoping for a top 10, but I was estimating that we would only get that with one driver at the most, and we ended up with both inside the top 10. So a very good start with a pretty terrible car, all things considered. So we pick up some silicone, aluminum, copper wire. All right, so the silicone, I'm not sure exactly what it'll be used for. My guess is that one of the engines will take that, but for an upgrade, but we'll see as time moves on. Once again, for the most part, I'm seeing one stoppers, a few two-stop strategies in there. To use a two-stop strategy and still finish second, you had to be flying. It must be awesome to have that kind of raw speed to be able to do that. All right, with this race, we move up around the 10,000, the top 10,000 level, in line for a bonus of 50K. So again, not terrible. Every little bit of money that you can make extra is always appreciated. All right, so as we work our way through the loading screen into repairing one of our parts, we are hoping very soon that we'll be able to improve our parts, but we're still a little bit away from that. All right, so let's see, where are we? 75, 74, 78. And really nothing is terribly low. So I'll go ahead and do the 74%, fix the reliability, and we'll continue moving on with that. All right, so there you have it. A very successful video today. Obviously, moving up into Tier 4, bringing on a whole new batch of competitors, which is awesome. And we'll just see how things go. I'm still waiting for, you know, this huge amount of difficulty to hit us, such as what you encounter in the PC game. But so far, it really hasn't happened. We finished in 7th and 8th position in this race, even though we are really just okay as a team. So that'll do it for today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned for more Motorsport Manager Online.